Hello YouTube, this is Thomas Judge back once again with another instalment of my ongoing weekly series Till the Fabled End, in which I review every single Fables deluxe edition and non-collected editions one by one. Today we are looking at Jack of Fables deluxe hardcover volume 3, the final one of the Jack of Fables. So we previously looked at volumes 1 and 2, and here we have volume 3. This is the spine, this is the front cover image. This is the back, the legend retires. This is the final Jack of Fables hardcover that contains the rest of the series. I believe it covers, issues 36 all the way to issue 50 of apparently the classic series. Something that I found astonishing in one of the pull quotes for this is from the, whatever this is, boing.net. Both gripping and thought-provoking, philosophically substantial and sparklingly funny. None of those things are true, especially philosophically substantial. I mean, that should come under some kind of... that's probably an illegal thing to say. That's misrepresentation and libel by every possible definition. There is nothing philosophically substantial in this series. But anyway, this is the cover. Inside French flap says, "In the end, there can only be one Jack of Fables." We'll talk about that more in a second. And then on the rear French flap, we just have some biographical stuff. Let's get the cover off, and underneath the dust jacket we have these images, which are the ones that I'm choosing to use for the thumbnail. So we've got this, and then we've got the librarians. Inside pages are just kind of a bland red. If you get into it, we then have the issues here. As I said, issues 36 to 50. They're split into these various series, so the New Adventures of Jack and Jack, Kings of Earth and Sky, and then the Ultimate Jack of Fables story, and then the usual kind of extras at the end. The intro here is written by a character I'm obviously obsessed about, which is the Blue Ox. It's quite funny in a meta way. I'm a little bit obsessed, like I say, with the contrivance of this little gimmick they have, where there's normally a page with 6 panels and it's sort of text, comedy, pause, text. They play into that here. We have 4 blurbs, comedy, pause, and then final blurb. They're kind of leaning into it, which is fair. So, as we dive into the story here, this is set directly after the Fables hardcover, which has the Great Fables crossover, which contains 3 issues of Jack of Fables, which were literally just prior to this. So that's issues 33, 34, and 35. It includes the 3-issue series, The Literals, and it also includes 3 issues from the ongoing Fables series. So we looked at that several weeks ago, and we've actually looked at it again last week when we were talking about what comes after volume 2 of the Jack of Fables hardcover, and this follows straight on thereafter. Now, whilst it also does have a lot of stuff obviously about Jack of Fables, we also start to see more about this character here, Jack Frost, who's actually Jack's son. And it's quite interesting what happens here, in that increasingly Jack Frost, so Jack's son, becomes the protagonist of the series. Obviously the series has some of the usual controversies against Blue Ox with the comedy pacing. But yeah, actually, increasingly this character, this second Jack, becomes more and more the protagonist of the series, whilst the primary Jack, the Jack that we're used to, actually is on the sort of the back burner more and more. So again, here we have Jack Frost and the stories of Jack Frost. These stories are good. I like this character. Whilst I've said before, the original Jack of Fables is a bit of an obnoxious prick, to be honest. And here, various things have happened to him to kind of like put him into the sidelines. But what's happening with Jack Frost is really cool. He's actually kind of a Flash Gordon sort of hero. He's cool, he's a swashbuckler, he's getting on with various heroic deeds, magic swords, this, that, of battling massive beasts. We still have the Blue Ox vignettes, but that's not a problem. But yeah, I guess as a whole, what I would say is the majority of this volume, as in volume 3 of the hardcovers, it sidelines and marginalises the Jack of Fables character that we're used to. Thank God, because he's annoying and obnoxious. And it starts bringing this Jack Frost character to the fore, where Jack Frost starts becoming the new Jack of myth or of fable, as it's, I suppose, more than anything else. And he's cool. It's an interesting character. It's interesting stories. There's twists. There's turns. It's yeah, it was actually really enjoyable. This is probably the most enjoyable Jack of Fables has been, and it hasn't even got the titular protagonist in it. It's got another protagonist with the name Jack in it, and I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. More blue ox here, obviously. We then have a librarian's arc, which is quite interesting because it's an arc set a fair bit after the last time we saw the librarians. They moved on quite a bit with their lives, and again here we have the swashbuckling Jack of Frost character, eye patch and all. We have occasional vignettes talking about the original Jack of Fables, who now is just, like I say, been completely marginalised into a side character, which is fine because he was annoying, he was stupid. What's going on with Jack of Frost and Jack of Frost's sidekick, the owl, and the librarians and all that sort of stuff is just so much more interesting and so much more pleasing to read. So I really did enjoy that. Here he is. This is still Jack Frost. And this takes us all the way up to, I guess, yeah, up until the last arc. And even into the last arc, Jack Frost is largely kind of the hero character. So keep in mind, whilst we did see Jack of Fables maybe for the first few issues of this, the rest of this has all largely been Jack Frost doing his Jack Frost thing. I do wonder creatively what the rationale behind this was. I would like to think that what happened was the writers and the artists just kind of got sick of Jack because he is an obnoxious and very aggravating character. He can't be much fun to write. He's definitely not that much fun to read. So this was nice. This was nice to see actually it turning a corner and going into a much, much better direction. Anyway, the final sort of part of the final story, the greatest Jack of Fables story, or the ultimate Jack of Fables story, whatever it's called, is Jack Frost going up against the original Jack of Fables. It's kind of stupid, it's kind of messy, there's a lot of bombast. As you can see, there's explosions, there's dragons, laser beams, magic swords, the works, all that sort of stuff, big double page splashes of things going on. It's okay, it's kind of a bit of a... it's not really a letdown of an ending. It just kind of felt really very clumsy and disorganized and messy, and then essentially it ends with Jack of Fables just continuing to just be Jack of Fables and hitchhiking and being a bit annoying. So it kind of fizzles out as a bit of a damp squib, despite most of this volume being quite a lot of fun. Anyway, after that we then have the usual extras. So this is Jackpot, as in the extra features and the artwork and that sort of thing. No script features, but that's kind of a general feature of all the Fable stuff. All the extras are just art. Then we've got some biographical stuff here, and that is the end of it. So what do I think of Jack of Fables as a whole, and what do I think of Jack of Fables Book 3? Well, Book 3 was largely pretty good, mainly because it didn't have Jack of Fables in it. It was mainly about Jack Frost inheriting the mantle of his father, which is just much better, because Jack, as in the original Jack, is just an obnoxious bellend. This is good. I enjoyed it. Am I glad I have the 3 hardcovers? I don't know, it's hard to say. The first 2 aren't that much fun, but they do lead into an essential volume of Fables 9 or Fable 10, I forget which. The one which is the Great Fables crossover. And in order to fully understand that, you do have to read the first couple of volumes of Jack of Fables. So I think that they're important to read in that context. This volume itself is good. I enjoyed it. Would I buy it as a hardcover? Probably not, except obviously the first 2 hardcovers exist. So I guess basically what I'm saying is I'm sort of on the fence of these. The Jack of Fables series has got a lot of ups and downs. It's got a lot of dips. It's kind of inconsistent. It's got some bits that are useful as tie-ins to Fables. It wouldn't be worth really getting the hardcovers unless you've already got them like I have. But now that I have them, they're decent enough that I'm not going to get rid of them. I mean, why not? I'll just keep them on my shelf. But that's where we are with Jack of Fables. That's where we are with Volume 3. Yeah. So next time we are going to be looking at... What are we looking at next time? The Fables covers. So there is a deluxe hardcover, which is all the covers for all Fables volumes. And we will be looking at that next time. That's our homework. I'll see you all in a week. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. As always, please like, comment, subscribe. As always, please follow me on Twitter at I am Thomas Judge, where I will post a daily review of whatever comics I've been reading. You can get an idea of what I'm up to on the channel. And as always, please support the channel by heading over to Amazon.com and checking out my prose novel about superheroes. It's a completely original piece of work. The first episode in it is called Arrivals, and the series as a whole is called No Gods or Kings. You can find an excerpt of that on my website, nogodsorkings.com. Until next time, everybody, stay classy.